Boom! We are live, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome to the Life as a Chad YouTube channel. And I thank all of you for being here, wherever you may be, and of course, however you may be listening. Came across an interesting video this evening, and I just had to react to it because it's what I do. Recently, I was tagged and given a shout out on X. And I guess my channel is becoming known as a channel that specifically calls out right-wing female faux tradcon conservative grifters. I mean, it's kind of hard to encompass it all into one clean statement because a lot of times, I mean, you have a few things. So, for example, you can have girls that like Nala, who are these women that are pretending as if they are traditional when we all know anybody who has even the slightest tick of an honest eye or examination knows that she is the furthest thing from a traditional woman. Okay. A traditional woman, and it's not just her past on only stands and things like that, but also a woman who was truly traditional, who had converted to Christianity so recently, would not be telling people about what they're doing wrong and right and what they're misinterpreting and interpreting correctly when it comes to the Bible and Christianity. But just in general, like they just wouldn't be in the public sphere anymore. But that's the thing is in the end, it's all about the money and she still has to make it. And so that is why she continues to do it. It's just another avenue towards making money. And this time it just so happens that she doesn't have to take her clothes off and bang, 20 different Chad and Tyrones with, um, I was going to say with 20 inch. No, they don't have to. It just so happens that she doesn't have to do that anymore. I'm not going to get graphic, but you guys know exactly what I'm saying. But it's still there. Then you also have these women who say that they're conservative. They might misunderstand it and categorize it as being traditional. But well, let me backtrack actually. The thing with somebody like Nala is they are actually trying to present this trad wife lifestyle. They got themselves a husband. They finally got themselves a husband. Um, they're primarily living at home, they're cooking, they're cleaning, but everybody knows it's for show. It's fake. It's faux traditionalism. Then you have these women who, as I was saying, say that they are conservative. They might misquote it and misunderstand by saying that they are traditional. Not all, but some of them do. Um, and they get presented on Fox News. I see this a lot on Fox News. I'm going to be making a video on this. Fox News has 100%, and it's not a surprise at all. They have become the network that is um, perpetrating this female conservatism garbage. If you check into Fox News, which I'm sure much of my audience does not, pretty much every segment has a majority women on the panel. Every time I'm at the gym and I look up, it's like one male host with three female conservative commentators. I mean, it's fucking ridiculous. But they will purport themselves to be this, and they will even say, and they usually get very upset by being called when they get found out. Uh, feminists when they are called by Andrew Wilson, by me, by various other Nick Fuente, by various other male truly traditional conservative nationalist Christians, um, they who finally call them out on their bullshit, specifically with the label feminist, they lose their ever loving mind. So those are the two main ones, and they are slightly different. But in the end, it's the same. It's this fake. Um, they're only doing it. They have an ulterior motive for why they're doing it, whether it's the clout, the money, the fame. An ex-boyfriend, a super Chad ex-boyfriend was super conservative, and so they think that they're super conservative, but they're really just espousing, 25% of the things that their Chad ex-boyfriend said before he dumped her. But now they also have this like college feminism within them that wasn't fully kicked out but actually was expressed even a little bit more once Chad broke up with them. And I know this because I've seen it myself. Like I cannot tell you, and I went to Christian universities. Like I cannot tell you how many girls I have seen this be the case. Girls that I know that went to public universities, like it's hard for them to shake it. But nonetheless, when it comes to these conservative women, especially or quote unquote conservative women, when they live in populous areas, like the woman we're about to review here on the Michael Knowles show. And by the way, guys, I got to give Michael Knowles credit. Usually, I think, like most things, he's in the ballpark, but ultimately, he has all the wrong conclusions and analysis on the issues that he correctly points out. Prescriptions. So, but yeah, I mean that's just kind of where we're at. We have these conservative women that think that they are conservative, but when push comes to shove, and I've shown this time and time and time again on my channel, Lauren Southern, the girl that used to be on Infowars. Let me see if I can find her name real quick. I mean, I literally have it all over my channel. I mean, Lauren Southern, Girls Gone Bible, I did a recent one on. Megan Kelly is another one. I mean, it just goes on and on. You can find it everywhere. And you actually also kind of get it on the left too. There's women that are on the left that, what's her name? Lavloon, who they know that the liberalism that they've been told is a lie. But again, it is painstakingly difficult for them to shed the feminism that has been woven deep, deep inside them. It's Lily something. I had a video on Steven Crowder's ex-wife, whatever her name is, Laura is it? I see her posts on X all the time. I did a video on Nala. Can a tiger shed its stripes? Is OF creator Nala legit in her conversion? Um, Man, where is that fucking video? It's bothering me. But yeah, I mean it's literally all over the guy, all over the place. You see it, at Roma Army. You see it with people that are actually in politics, like Kristi Noem. Where she was literally given. Um, was that Kristi Noem? There was this girl this girl that's in politics that in Colorado, I think Lauren Boebert, who was caught given a little good at some play that she was at with her Chad boyfriend cowboy guy. Lauren Chen's been exposed. I mean, why is it always the Laurens? It's always the Laurens. Man, there's one that's like the biggest one that I really want to point out here because man, she got exposed majorly, and I have to give credit and have given credit to Andrew Wilson on this. It was on the Whatever podcast. She absolutely got torched by Andrew. Millie Weaver, sorry guys, Millie Weaver. And then there is. Man, I mean, the list just goes on and on. On out what she used to be on Outkick, um, not Lauren Boebert. She used to be Tommy Lauren. I mean, the list just goes on and on. Anyways, guys, so I've done a lot of videos on that. I think my channel's really starting to get known as this, and I'm happy about that because it's a big deal. It needs to be pointed out. I've said that I consider feminism to be a top three issue of our time, as far as things that are either adding to the decay of Western civilization or presenting as a barrier to us reclaiming the society that we were born to reclaim and inherit. So I absolutely consider it part of that. And in the conservative movement, you kind of have two competing worldviews, and it's the same with the liberal, the left movement, just different issues, kind of a civil war in both parties. In conservatism, you have the more neocon modern conservatism where socially they are basically liberal on everything. They might be somewhat conservative or at most libertarian, but by and large, they are liberal. Really, they're only conservative when it comes to fiscal things, and that's why they call themselves a fiscal conservative. And so you see with them the Fox News, the Boomers, the George Bush voters, the Dick Cheney lovers, the John, John Kane or John McCain, the fucking what's his name from Utah, Mitt Romney would be one. And even with the quote unquote America First conservatives, I think it's more of an age thing. I think if you're a younger conservative, you're more hip to the social issues of our time. If you're an older conservative, you're not as much, and it's not just it's not just feminism. It's a few other issues. All right, guys. Without further ado, let's dive into this. By the way, guys, be sure to like, comment, share. Hit that subscribe button. You guys know the drill. Let me get this shared for us. I really can't wait to show this. I'm so happy I found this video. And again, I got to give credit where credit is due to Michael Knowles. I think he was at least slightly consistent with this, although not completely at all times. But in this video, I think he did give at least a little bit of pushback, which was good to see. Let's get this sped up a little bit and let's dive in.
That for the world. And that was a good example to me because when I have kids, I want to be at everything. Like I want to watch them grow up. I don't want somebody else raising my children.
So just an example, just to give you guys a little backdrop here, you basically have this girl Emily Wilson, who is the like modern girl. Girls can have it all. Female on the panel. The other two girls are more traditional in their opinions, although I do have my issues with them, which I will point out as soon as it comes up.
I'm using promo code Knowles Canada BLES for 35.com.
She's a settlement consultant, so she only works when she had a case come to her. But she sacrificed a lot of work when she had us as kids, and she was able to basically be a stay-at-home mom who took maybe like 2 conference calls a month. So she could have made a lot more money than she did, but she sacrificed that to raise us as kids. So I don't think that you can have it all, because having it all would be her making as much money as she can
And shocker, this girl, Emily Wilson, does believe that women can have it all, that there's not enough time, that there's more than enough time in the day. You can work 8 hours, you can still spend 8 hours with your kids, beautiful quality time, you can make tons of money, and you can fucking give your husband a nice sloppy Joe, both in the bedroom and an actual meal,
And with work, being very successful in her career,
which
and
is
also
laughable.
having successful children. But you
Right.
have to
You can't
sacrifice one.
bilocate.
Like
You can't be in two places
Yeah,
simultaneously. Right.
no. And I mean, she took us to school every day. She picked us up. She was at all of our games. She was at all of our events. And I would not trade that for the world. And that was a good example to me because when I have kids, I want to be at everything. Like I want to watch them grow up. I don't want somebody else raising my children or even my parents raising my children because they have to watch them. So I think I had a great example of that growing up. But even my mom would tell you like, no, I had to sacrifice a lot of money and a lot of my career to raise children, but she'll tell you it was 100% worth it.
You know, my wife, she's done both. Sweet little Lisa she's a real trad wife. She bakes the bread, she makes the pasta, she does all the stuff, takes the kids out. But she has a PhD, she's had a career. She has a doctorate. I have an honorary doctorate. I'm just the arm candy, really. But she's done that and she quit her job. And she quit her job because we've been spitting out enough kids that it got to the point where she was going to have to make real choices. Hire more childcare, spend less time with the kids, or quit the job. But it finally had come down to it, and you have to make a choice. And she chose the trad life, the trad wife life. But she did have Emily's caveat there, which is that a lot of these moms who decide, okay, I'm going to stay home, I want to be with the kids more, I don't want they still want some money, or they still want some kind of outside intellectual activity. So they'll make content. They'll like make they'll post on Instagram, and so it is this little bit of a kind of trying to have it all sort of thing. But my question, I guess maybe I'm more authoritarian than anyone on the panel. I don't know. I haven't heard you weigh in on this, Melanie. But I do not have the view, as you suggested, Savannah, that look, a woman, if she wants to do whatever she wants, that's fine. She can go on OnlyFans. Or I don't know. I don't. It should not. That OnlyFans should be banned. The operators should be arrested and shipped off to St. Helena. So yep. I think we should put lots of limits on all this stuff. And the question that I have is we're trying to bridge the divide between the sexes so that people can have good lives.
Bruh. Very interesting. This girl also was on the whatever podcast, and she had some good takes on that. She was given some heat because she's in her husband's a little bit older than she is. And some panelists were giving her some hate on that.
To go out, get a job, not be a stay-at-home son or whatever. It's better for him. He should. But then when it comes to not be a it is better for the boy to get out of his mother's basement. It is better for the boy to go out, get a job, not be a stay-at-home son or whatever. It's better for him. He should. But then when it comes to women, we say, well, they can do whatever they want. Maybe this is better, but maybe it's not. Maybe this. But I want shoulds. I want you to tell women what to do. What is best for the women? Emily?
I think men should go out and work. I think women should also educate themselves. I think they should find a job that makes them happy. We don't all have to pretend like every job is slave labor. I've had many careers. I've been happy in all of them. I think women should have something that's theirs on their own. I also think it gives you more options. It makes you, in my opinion, because I give those for a living, more valuable and better off. And when they find someone, if they choose to become a stay-at-home, trad wife, whatever BS they call it online now, then that's fantastic. If they want to have hobbies, if they want to work a little, if they want to quit their jobs, whatever's best for them, that makes them happy and the children, that's great. I support all that.
Okay, now, so then the question, of course, this begs the question, which is what makes people happy, which is where we stand. What is actually conducive to happiness? Modernity tells you a lot of things are going to make you happy and they don't. But then I see in your answer, Emily, a lot of they should have choice. They should have something on their own, something independent. But I am skeptical of that, okay? I don't have a lot of choices. I mean, I do, and I get to do whatever I want. I don't even have a real job. I just do, this is my job. Is this even a job? But
no, I really like what he's saying there because it's true. And this is a huge thing that's pointed out in the red pill and from modern conservative men, that men still are expected to adhere. Nothing has changed for men to their gender norms, especially if they want to find a woman. Whereas women, what's the expectation for them? It used to be that they had children, that they took care of the household and raised up young individuals into adulthood. Now, is that still there? No. And you're about to see with Emily's answer, she basically doesn't answer it. Surprise, surprise. And yeah, just continues to think that women can have it all.
But I don't have a lot of choices. I am married. I got to be home at a certain time most nights. I got to do stuff. I've got to make some money because I've got to pay certain bills. I don't accept divorce under any circumstances. I don't have a prenuptial agreement. My wife could take me to the cleaners if she wanted to. I don't have choice. I don't have things that are really independent from my wife. We don't have separate personal bank accounts or anything. We don't have separate anything really. We sleep in the same bed. So my question then is it really good? I know modernity says it's good to be independent and have choices and endless options and whatever. Does that really make you happy, Melanie?
I honestly don't even like the phrase "do what makes you happy." I think you need a foundation, and that foundation is the Bible instead of subjective morality. We're not always going to have the opportunity to do what makes us happy, because what makes us happy at all times isn't necessarily right. We need to do the right thing. And the Bible has a strong foundation for how men should behave, what men should do, and women. So we can't just live life based on you do you. Let's have this objective morality, because things just go crazy. You got pride parades, you got kids being mutilated, like things just spiral out of control. So do what's right, follow the Bible.
That's a pretty straight answer. So Emily's answer is do the things that make you happy, as follow your bliss. Yours is follow the Bible, even if you think it might not make you happy, it will in the long run. Yes. Savannah, what should women do?
I think the word choice is very overglorified in our society. Like, choice is so sexy. We love having choice. I would agree with you, Michael. In my marriage, I will not leave my husband under any circumstance. We follow the Bible. We're loyal to each other. He's the head of the household, so he makes the decisions in our family. And I'm actually happier that way. I'm very young. I got married at 18, but before then I was given all these choices like, oh, well, you could move here and go get a degree here, go get a job here. And that was overwhelming. That was actually more depressing than living in a marriage that is a unit, and in which you don't have a ton of choices and you don't have a ton of freedom, quote unquote. And so if you watch my content, you know that I usually say, you should do this. You ought to do this, because statistically speaking, married women with children are happier. But again, I'm going to have to agree with Melanie too, that the Bible is the foundation and Christ is the foundation. Will make you want to do things that are inherently traditional, and that are biblical. So I would say that choice has just gotten so out of hand, and we ought to go back to biblical principles.
All right, now it seems like the divide here is you got Melanie and Savannah are like really pro trad life. Emily, you're being made out to be the liberal feminist here, even though you're pretty conservative, right?
I know, it's funny because everyone says I'm like too far right, which is like there's no winning, is there?
But do you
bruh, whoever says that is a fucking moron. There is nothing about this chick that is too far right. Give me a fucking break.
Feel that you are a little more on the liberal or feminist side compared to some of the women who are pushing the trad life?
I mean, textbook definition feminism of wanting men and women to have like equal rights. Yeah, like I would not deny that, of course.
You would call yourself a feminist? Because I know people always say feminism means you want men and women to have equul rights. I think that's BS. I think it's an ideology.
What it's supposed to mean and what it did mean until it got hijacked by everything. Now, if you say you're a feminist, everyone's calling you a liberal and all these different things. Actually, sorry to interrupt, but I'd go back even further. I don't think it ever actually meant that. I think that was a way to sell feminism. But I think going back to like Mary Wollstonecraft and the early days of feminism, I think it was just basically a view of human nature that said men and women are pretty much the same. And rather than the classical view of human nature, which is that men and women are different, vive la différence, we're complementary, men are from Mars, women are from Venus, but we all get together in the solar system. So I think it goes deeper than it. That's one reason why I would never say I'm a feminist, is because I just don't think that's how human nature works. I love women. I think women are marvelous. I am as far from a misogynist as it is possible to be. But I don't think men and women are the same. I think certain things are better for men, certain things are better for women.
You can sell this $5 spatula on Amazon.
This dude got the ads all the way turned up on this. Yeah, men and women are different. Okay. Thanks, Michael. Tell us something we don't know. Okay. But this is really the problem is girls will like Emily will hear that and they'll say, yeah, they are. But I also want women to be able to vote, to be able to work and basically do all the things that men can do. And thus they inevitably, as we can see, it's not really working out, will stop performing their sex duties, the duties assigned to their sex that are, largely ordained by God. And so, yeah, we'll just have it all. It's just wildly inconsistent. And that's what I'm talking about like women like her. I would say she falls in the category of like, she thinks she's conservative. She thinks that she might be traditional. She doesn't think she's feminism. She gets very butthurt when people call her a feminist. But in reality, she just doesn't really know much about conservatism. She doesn't, what is she conserving? I guarantee she had a father or a brother or a Chad boyfriend that kind of she admires in some way, shape, or form. So she, wants to believe she's conservative, but she also went to college. She also lives in a city. She's also probably has a body count at, over 10. Um, Ergo, she's not conservative, and she admits that she's not even religious. So how exactly is she conservative? Again, what, you're fiscally conservative? You find it fashionable to like Donald Trump? Okay, great. Fuck. Okay, and this is what I'm talking about. This is why no, women should not vote. No, women should not be involved in politics for this very reason right here, because they do this shit as a fashion. They do it because they heard it from a boyfriend or from a they are not built for this shit.
Is a complete weakness. I think men and women are completely.
But I don't think men and women are the same. I think certain things are better for men, certain things are better for women.
No, I think what makes us different are our strengths. I think trying to blend those together is a complete weakness. I think men and women are completely different animals and should be treated differently. So it's like the problem is they're trying to blend these things to be like, oh, we should just be living the same life and doing the same things. Absolutely not. That clearly is not working out as we see that in society. Do I think women should have the right to vote and all these things? Which, yes, all the pick-me feminists are like, oh my God, women shouldn't even vote. Like, I'm sorry. I think that's embarrassing. I think literally all they're doing is trying to get attention from men, ironically, because most of them are probably unhappy in their marriages and not happy with all the choices they've made. I'm also coming from a different perspective. I'm in a city. I'm also not super religious. I'm very clear about that online, but I'm not going to pretend like I'm a part of this new wave of feminism. I mean, being in one of the bluest places in the country, I live a very ironically traditional and conservative lifestyle. I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't do drugs, I don't go out. We're having dinner, we're cooking, we're with the dogs. We'd like to
Emily,
get married one day.
My definition of conservatism, you actually have to drink and smoke. It's actually a requirement. I see your point, because sometimes when they say women shouldn't vote, I think, hold on, then we're going to lose all the elections because we get all the married. Only married women should vote. The single women should not vote because they all vote for Democrats. But if you really wanted to embrace the trad life, of course, nobody should vote. But that's a topic for another time. Ladies, thank you so much.
So much of it is so hypocritical. And ironically, a lot of these statements are like literally just from women to like appease men. And like, I'm sorry, I'm just like, I'm not going to get behind that. And they called me a liberal feminist and Tommy Lauren and all these people. And like, look, we're allowed to have different perspectives. And that's all.
It's so funny she said Tommy Lauren, because it's the same. I bet it was Andrew Wilson that said that shit. And ding, 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 spot on.
Also supposed to be the right wing. We're not supposed to be liberals. We're supposed to have different perspectives and actually be able to coexist with each other.
Right. And I'm not completely on the end of like, oh, women shouldn't vote and this and that. I think women should be able to vote. So I'm definitely with you on that.
Bruh.
And I also,
Melanie, I thought that's what conservative.
I guess so. But I also think even if you look at the Bible, you look at the Proverbs 31 woman, she still had a job. Granted, it didn't take priority over her household. So I think that when we're talking about roles, as if a woman wants to be able to work, I mean, I'm not in a 1950s dress right now. Like,
not yet,
I
Melanie.
Work. Not yet, at least. So I work, and so I can't claim that everything has to be this exact same way. So I do understand that element of it, but I think that the priority with a woman in marriage, and especially if kids are involved, should be the home. That is the priority. Anything else that she wants to do, if she wants to get a part-time job, she wants to do this or that, as long as it doesn't interfere with what she's able to do at home.
And I think it's good if you're talking about women initiating divorce and being unhappy. I think a good part of that is how do we keep women happy and stop that from happening? So saying, oh, not force them. If going to work 3 hours a week makes her happy, whatever it is, then maybe that should be also a priority if the divorce is initiated and so high.
I have this crazy idea. Maybe we should restrict the divorce laws again. But that's the much more trad right-wing view. Savannah, you have been characteristically demure, quiet, and trad in this last little segment here. Final word.
I personally don't think women should vote, and that's probably going to be a very far opinion. And that's not to get male validation. That's simply like I maybe married women, because it would just be like my husband having another vote. But during like the suffragist movement, they sold this to women as, oh, well, now you can vote differently than your husband, so now you have choice. And so if we're going to erase women's choice, as in going on OnlyFans or working or whatever it may be, then you have to repeal the 19th too. I mean, I just don't, that we're losing elections.
Yeah,
we lost in
so true.
What was it, 2020, because single women were voting.
She's the only based one, bro.
So I think that's a problem.
I thought it was the ballot drop boxes, but
I still do think she should get off the internet, but still.
It's a fair point. I mean, there were plenty of women during the suffragette movement.
Voter ID, but it's like, also, didn't you vote? Didn't you vote for Trump?
Well, but it was like my husband had another vote. I'm not voting against my husband.
Mm.
If I was voting against my husband, that would be a problem.
I don't think.
Yeah, if you're married and you're a conservative woman and you have her opinion, of course you would double up your husband's vote. Of course. But it doesn't mean you think that you should have it.
Couples should be voting against each other, right?
Shocker. Emily's pissed.
And I think the man should be the head of the household. So I can see that element of it for sure. Women
So
should
Melanie,
be
you're
voting
more on
against their
Savannah's side.
husbands. I'm kind of in between because like I don't want to be told I can't vote. I'm single too, so I don't want to be told I can't vote. Like I'm
Why
paying
not?
taxes.
I would be told. Look,
I pay
sorry to interrupt,
taxes.
Melanie, but I'm a millennial. Millennials have voted traditionally for Democrats. If you told me, Michael, we're going to disenfranchise all the millennials, you'll never get to vote again, but we're going to get good government. Say like, where do I sign up? Take all my votes, please. It's a hassle to go vote. What do I need that for? The point of the voting is the good government. And to your point, Savannah, I mean, there were a lot of women who were opposed to the suffragettes, and they didn't want the right to vote. And the reason I don't think was that they were dumb or slaves or something like that. Their arguments were the argument that the basic unit of society should be the family, not the individual. So they were making principled arguments. You can disagree with those arguments. Obviously, they're kind of irrelevant now because women have had the right to vote for 100 years. But they were making serious arguments. So then, I don't know. I mean, what do you say, Emily? I don't think we're going to repeal the 19th Amendment anytime soon. But is it would it not be more conservative if the political order was based on the family rather than the individual?
Yeah, but there's also, that goes across too many different things of like rights that we should have. And it's just ridiculous. I don't even really believe, like, yeah, okay, would we be more conservative? Sure. Would I risk like all females not being able to vote? No. And I don't really think females believe that. I think they say these things online to get male validation.
Savannah, are you a pick-me?
Yeah, right.
Are you doing pick-me stuff?
I'm married. I don't need to be picked. I've already been picked.
Yeah, but every single thing you say is literally appealing to.
Of course, she goes for an ad hominem, and it's like, no, this is not appealing to men. This is just appealing to logic, what's best for the nation, and quite frankly, appealing to the natural order of things in God. Whereas Emily is not. Emily says that she thinks that men and women are different, and we're different animals, and we shouldn't be considered the same. But she literally does exactly that. I mean, give me a fucking break. I'm tired of this fucking chick.
Men, and usually hating on women as well, which is funny because I would think if I was in a happy marriage, I wouldn't even do like, I would just go out and just be happy and do my thing. I think the advice you give to women is awful. I think it's at a detriment to them. And I don't think it comes from true happiness. And I think it really does come out of insecurity from being in, frankly, a lavender marriage, as everyone online can see.
I disagree. I think
Are
Savannah.
you that easily manipulated by TikTok rumors?
What is it? Can you clear up for a millennial? What's a lavender marriage?
Man in 2 seconds.
Oh, a lavender marriage is when you
why do you think I called you out for hating on me specifically?
Isn't a lavender marriage
you
usually
berated
like
my husband online? You berated my husband for absolutely no reason.
No, I just looked at 2 seconds. I was, oh, that's a gay man. That's why she's
what?
so sassy on
That's I think that's uncalled for. I don't know anybody's personal lives here. This is what this is the thing, my perspective of what I'm seeing. Savannah is saying all this because she is in an ideal situation.
I am not surprised in the least that Emily said that. Not surprised at all.
In a happy situation. So in an ideal
situation, married to a potentially gay man at what, 19 is a
how do
all
you
right,
know?
listen. As someone who's tap danced in his life, I want you to know not every guy who's a little theatrical is lighting the loafers. All right. On that note, we have to let you all go. I look forward to chatting again.
Anyways,
you can follow
guys. That's it.
Melanie Mac at Melanie.
All these
Melanie Mac. You can follow Emma.
All these chicks. Oops. I just want to see if I got her name. Yeah, Emily Wilson. The only one that was decent was Savannah. The other two, the girl with the tats, that's not traditional. It looks terrible. Listen, I'll be honest. For funnin', it's not bad. It can have a certain appeal. But as far as like taking a girl like that seriously as a wife, no. The only type of guys that are going to take her seriously are chud, beta, or like other like gothic rockers. And we all know most of them are not, very successful and masculine. And they tend to also be quite beta and nerdy and feminine. So, this whole thing was just so easy to read, and I could have told you what Emily's takes were going to be before I even watched this. This girl totally is a feminist. She's totally an NPC. She has exactly the same viewpoints that I would expect some liberal feminist from college to have. Literally no different. In the end, what makes her conservative? And ultimately, it's women like her that are totally killing Western society. What we need is to go back to biblical standards. Men are the leaders, protectors, and providers. Men statistically do not leave their wives. Women need to get back in the home. They need to become more feminine, not like her. She's very masculine, bitchy, sassy, annoying. They need to get submissive, more feminine, get back into the church, submitting to God and their husband, and society would immediately see an uptick in its standards, and we would be much better for it. So, anyways, guys, that's pretty much it. I don't have much more to say. I've talked about this many times in many different videos. This is just yet another fake conservative woman exposed by yours truly. Life is a Chad. All right, guys, thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to hit that subscribe button, like, comment, share. Y'all know the drill. And last but not least, DBAP, don't be a pussy willow. In fact, your feelings, because your feelings just matter. Love you, kings. Stay safe. See you guys next time. Christ is King. Peace.